guys, thanks for joining me. In this video, I'm going to be talking about these cushions from Wet n Wild. So funny because I had done a video all about like Wet n Wild's new foundation, powder, concealer, and I think it was maybe the day I posted that or like the day after. These were starting to be talked about as people were seeing them online and in their stores, and I'm like, dang it, I just missed it. But I was able to round these up recently in store, actually. I found them in my Walgreens. I also found a cushion lip product that I'll be talking about in this video. And then these are also online as well, and they're selling them for right around $5-6. And another cushion thing that they're releasing that I don't have my hands on yet is a cushion color corrector type product. And I do have one of those. I'm just going to talk real quickly about it. I have one from Physicians Formula. See how it's half and half? It's the cushion corrector and primer duo in the peach and lavender. And this is one of those things that I just don't have a total thought on it yet. I mean, have you ever used some things and you're like, okay, what is it doing? I'm not sure. Like, it's not really a great sign for this product that I put it on, and I've used it quite a bit, and I've thought, what's the real advantage to this? Is this something I need to be using, or does the color just kind of disappear into my skin? I'm not really sure about this yet. But just so you know, Wet n Wild has put out like individual shades of these cushion color correctors as well. But what I'm going to be talking about in this video is the contour and the highlight. And it seems to me that they just come in one shade each. The contour is called Cafe Au Soleil, and then the highlight is Who's That Pearl. And it says for both featherweight finish, ultra blendable, and super convenient. I would argue a little bit about the convenience with the packaging on these because, now first off, I realize they're charging less. A lot of these cushion foundations in the drugstore, I feel like they're charging an arm and a leg for them. Like, I got Maybelline recently, and I think I spent like 16 bucks on that or something. These little guys are, you know, definitely a fraction of the cost, but the packaging seems a lot cheaper and really not that convenient. You've got to twist off a cap here. Okay, that's going to go somewhere. Then you've got a sponge sitting in here, and then you've got to lift out this little stopper, and that's got to go sit somewhere else too. So I feel like you've got to take apart these multiple components to actually get to your product. Or it seems like most of these other cushion related products, you're able to just flip a top back, pop your brush, your applicator in, and it's just really easy. And it took me a while to realize this, but when you put your little stopper back in, it's not enough to just kind of press it down around the sides. You actually have to put pressure right in the center for it to totally go down. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of popping out. So yeah, on one hand, it's cheaper. On the other hand, I don't love the packaging. But if you're interested in, you know, this cushion format for your contour and highlight, there aren't a lot of brands putting those kinds of things out right now that I'm aware of. As far as the consistency of this product, if you're not familiar with these different cushion foundations, it's really that kind of a consistency. It's very liquidy, and what you're dealing with in here is like a saturated sponge. A sponge that's really just soaking up all of this liquid, and then you can press into that with a sponge or a brush or whatever you want to use. The color tone of this, it almost makes me think a little bit of a bronzer because it doesn't have that ultra cool, borderline grayish type shadowy look that some contour products have, but it's not super warm either. It's just kind of like a middle of the road, like the type of bronzer type product that I would enjoy, but it does work as a contour for me. And the consistency is such that it almost makes me think of a stain because it's so liquidy. And as I've swatched it on my hand, I've got like a little bit right there in a very awkward place here on my hand. And that's kind of an example of I've put it on, it's dried down, and it actually like doesn't move. It really does lock in as far as the color. Now I want to show you the application, and I applied it two different ways for you on each side of my face. Actually, with both the highlight and the contour. On this side of my face, I applied them with brushes, and on this side of my face, I used beauty blenders. So the brush that I use with this contour and really like is this Real Techniques contour brush. I've actually enjoyed this with a lot of different cream contour products, and I just dip into the product, swipe it on right where I want it to be, and then sort of buff it in circular motions or whatever you need to do to get that blended. And I applied that both to the under the cheekbone area, also a little bit around the forehead. Thought it did a great job. This isn't the type of product that I think you want to have sitting on your skin for very long because it's not long before it does totally set. So I would say you want to stick to one area of your face at a time, get it on there, get it blended, and then move on. But I did feel like it was fairly easy to blend with this method. And then on the other side of my face, I used my beauty blender Blender blusher, which is a really nice size for this type of thing. First off, whether you're doing blush or contour, it's obviously larger than a micro mini, it's smaller than the classic Beauty Blender, and I just used the rounded end of that, dabbed it into the contour, and dabbed it right there in the hollow of my cheek. And I thought this also did a fantastic job blending it in. I mean, I don't see a pronounced difference one side of my face to the other, and I felt like both were equally easy. And I also went around my forehead with this too. It's just kind of like, which do you prefer? Which do you have on hand? That might dictate what you want to use, but I thought either method was fine. Really, my takeaway on this product is that I like the look and I kind of like the application, but at the same time, I feel like it's just a little bit fussy compared to a powder or even a cream contour that I might like and use already. It's like the work that I have to do to get into the product, and I know it's being kind of nitpicky, but you've got all these separate parts that you have to take off, all for a finished look that's really similar to what I might get with other random contour products anyway. And if I'm being really honest with myself, when I'm in a hurry, I take the path of least resistance. You know, I'm gonna wanna pop something open, just dip a brush in it and go, and not have a lot of other little pieces to deal with. Sometimes this whole cushion idea just feels a little gimmicky to me, but I would still say that a couple of advantages to this would be the thinness of the product. It does not look heavy, obviously not powdery on the skin or anything like that, and it really does stay. It has almost, like I described, a staining type of effect, so I think that's cool. Now let's move on to the highlight. This is the one that I think really sets itself apart and might be worth it for me to grab for, because I think it's such a pronounced highlight on the skin, and if that's what you're looking for, this looks really good. And it seems to be a pretty dramatic highlight without packing in a bunch of glittery, shimmery filler. You know, it's like just a nice pearlescent highlight. So you look at this packaging wise, it's the same deal as the other. You're going to twist the cap off. You've got that little sponge if you want to use that, and then there's this stopper that you also remove. And I used a brush on this side of my face. I used a smallish brush, and I do think this gives you a lot of kind of bang for your buck in terms of the appearance of this highlight on the skin. I used the Sigma P84, and I just dipped it directly into the highlight and dabbed it right along the top of the cheekbone. And I thought, yeah, that gives me a really nice highlight. And it's the type of thing I can look up really closely at, and I don't feel like it's overly metallic, but yet it was super duper brightening. So I was very happy with that method there. And then on the other side of my face, along my cheekbone, I used my Beauty Blender Micro Mini. The Beauty Blender blusher could have worked for this just fine too, but I kind of used two separate products because I didn't want the color mixing from one to the next. So I just dabbed the Micro Mini in there and put that on top of my cheekbone, and again, it worked just fine. I wish I could say like, oh, one method of application is distinctly better than the other, but I really think it's just a matter of what you have and like to use, because either way seems to mesh really well with this consistency of product, which again is very thin, very liquidy. It does last nicely on the skin, but the highlight is the thing that I come away feeling like, yeah, that's really gorgeous. That's kind of setting itself apart from a lot of the highlights that I have in my collection. And the bronzer or the contour here, it really reminds me of the effect that I'm getting of matte contour products, be it cream, powder consistency. It's all kind of looking the same on my skin. So I'm not getting a distinctly better look, let's say. Now the other cushion thing that I picked up that I want to talk about is this MegaCushion Soft Matte Lip Cream. And I wasn't really sure what to expect here. Of course, they're all sealed up in the store, and I get it home and I look at the tip, and it's just the same tip as that Melon concealer that I had been using. And I never really considered that to be a cushion, but it is kind of a spongy, I guess, cushiony ball at the end of this, and you're going to just squeeze the product right up through. And the shade that I have this in is 100A, Melon It Like It Is. And this, as you can see, I've had it on my lips throughout the video. I don't think it really meshes with my outfit wonderfully well, but it's this pretty orangey coral shade. Definitely is matte. I think it feels a little thinner than a lot of like cream matte lipsticks might, and also a little bit thinner and lighter than a lot of the liquid lipsticks out there. Also, it stays pretty true to color. So with a lot of the liquid lipsticks, you put them on, they have this dry down, and then they deepen up somewhat from what you initially saw going on your lips. This lip cream, I really kind of like it for the fact that it's just that. It's a lip cream. It doesn't lock in and have like the most incredible staying power, because I can definitely pull some product off of there, but it's not maybe as drying as a lot of liquid lipsticks, and it doesn't have that color changing thing happen. It's pretty on the lips. this. The packaging is cute, but at the same time I look at it and think, I've probably got just a matte lipstick that would give me this type of look on my lips. The other day I was keeping an eye on how this product really wore throughout the day, and it's not as locked in, like I said, as some of those others. Same time, it doesn't wear off in a patchy way either, but it does feel pretty drying on the lips, not offering a lot of extra moisture. One of the best things to compare this to might be those NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams, which aren't really like a liquid lipstick, but they have this similar deal where they don't set 100%. And to me, this has a similar finish on the lips to those, but a lighter weight feel. So to me personally, it's a like, not a love, just simply because if I'm looking for a matte lip color that looks like this, I've probably got it in my collection in the form of a lipstick. I don't see it as a total must-have. And one other thing that I want to mention that's not a cushion, but I do really like it, and I got it at the same time as these other things, it's this gel lip liner. This is a really nice lip liner. I got it in the shade Plum Together, and I was wearing it in a recent video along with this L'Oreal Glossy Balm in Petite Plum. So it really is the same kind of color as this. You're seeing a lot of this lip liner coming through on my lips in that video, and it's retractable and it goes on so smoothly, like ultra creamy lip liner. You almost can't believe how lightly and easily this is gliding on your lips. So I love that. I would definitely be into trying some more shades of this lip liner. So just wanted to let you know that that is really good. I thought it stayed well. A color this dark, I was really apprehensive for as creamy as it was. I thought, is it probably going to bleed outside my lip line? And I did not see that happening all day long. But yeah, what do you guys think about these cushion products? Are you into using a highlight and contour in this format? Do you think it's necessary? I mean, for me personally, I think there are some advantages to this formula, but the one that really sticks out to me is something that's different from a lot of things in my collection and has a really, I think, brilliant and beautiful look on the skin is probably the highlight. If you were just kind of holding yourself to one new purchase, I would say that one is the best. And the lip liner. You might want to try one of those lip liners also. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I will see you soon. Bye. Can I add one other thing real quick? I dug into my collection for an eye palette. I wanted to use an eyeshadow palette that I hadn't used in a while, and I think I might be falling in love all over again with my Too Faced Chocolate Bar Semi-Sweet palette. I really do like this thing. I got a pretty, you know, kind of warm look. The shadows in here, they do blend really well. I've got a lot of this on my lid, some of the peanut butter shade, some of this cocoa chili color. Those are kind of my main three that I've got on my eyes today, and I really like the look. So just thought I'd share that. But thanks again, guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.